I have a liquid candle dye here. It's yellow and it's a concentrated liquid dye, which means that one drop goes a really long way. And I'm actually only going to be using one drop to show you how potent this can be. So to use this, either put a glove on, like a disposable glove, or just use a tissue like this. And this is just what I do because these stoppers kind of get full of the like the dye. You can see how it's turned yellow, and this is yellow dye. So I always just use a tissue to open the bottle and close the bottle and to disperse the liquid, because you're simply just squeezing the little dropper lid here to get the dye out. So there's the dye. You can see it looks really dark, and I'm just gonna put one drop into here. See that? One drop. And I'll show you. Use the tissue as you like, I spilled a bit on the rim here, so I just use the tissue to just wipe it up, because I try to keep my dye containers clean because they can be so messy, and even I'm quite neat, and even mine just get to be just ugh. Maybe it's, and these bottles, like one drop of them these bottles last quite a long time, unless you're making like thousands every single day, but that's most likely not going to happen. But they just get so messy. Okay, one drop in there. I'm just going to hit this with the heat gun again and give it a stir. See how solid this has become? It must be quite cold in my house right now because it's really solidified quite quickly. And if this is the case for you as well, you don't want to pour it right now when it's chunky like this, because it will be really ununiformed in the mold. So we're going to go put this back on the stove for just a moment, heat it back up to 85, and then come back. Just to show you, all I've done is I've just put the pot right back into the same water bath, and it is just going to melt a little bit. I have it on medium heat again, and I'm just going to watch it. It will not take long. All right, we are back. The wax is melted again. You can see the difference, can't you? How liquid it is now and easier to work with. And this is really important, that we get the dye and the scent really uniformed together. Checking the temperature. It's 67. This is good. We don't want it too hot to melt our container. I've got it right here. It's ready to go. It's clean, you know, full of dust, free of dust, I mean. And when you take your spoon out, take a piece of paper towel right away and wipe it off. Don't leave wax on your spoons. It just causes scents to mix together and just problems and mess and stuff. So just give it a wipe, just like that, and you can just put it back when you're finished making, and it's not a mess. There's all these little tricks to help make it easier. Also, another tip is just get a piece of paper towel, and when you're pouring each one, in between them, wipe the rim like this, just to catch. You'll get a drip that goes down the side, and it just is a bit of a pain, and you can like drip off the edge here and drip all over your products and things like that, and your different milk containers, and just really become an issue. So just, there's another tip, wipe like that. All right, let's check this again. It should be about 65 now. 60, perfect. We don't want it too hot, and I'm just going to pour it into the mold, each little cavity, and I have to watch, zoom in here, I gotta watch the level on the side to make sure that I am not over pouring this. There. You don't want it too high. You can see right, look at this, you can see here how it's kind of, that's your indication that you're at the maximum at the top, and you don't want to go any higher. You can see it lifting over. Now, do you see how I've got a bunch along the side? Really simple fix again is just to get your heat gun and clear it up. But first, you'll want to make sure that you clean up this rim right here. And that's done simply with a paper towel like this. Just take it off the side there and the top, so that when you're hitting it with the heat gun, it's not going to fly all over the place and start melting down the side of the container and things like that. You don't want that. I'm leaving this one to cool, and do you see how I've got this little bubble right here? I'll zoom in again so you can see it. Little bubble right there. Okay, this is an indication that it was too cool when I was pouring it. So if you're getting bubbles, it was too cool. So the next batch that I'm going to make with you, I'm going to pour it definitely at 65, not 60, because 60 is too cool. So how can we fix this? Well, we can try to blow on it. There, that did it. I broke the surface layer, and you can see how I also got a bit of a mess on the side there. So don't do this now, because you could actually just make more of a mess. What we'll do is, when this is fully cold, is we will wipe that with a tissue and it will come clean right away. So there's the yellow color. Tip for testing out your dye colors when you add the dye to the wax. If you want to see what color this is, because it will be lighter than what's currently in the pot, just have a little paper towel nearby, or paper or whatever. Pour a bit of the hot wax, the melted wax, onto the paper. Just a little bit. You don't want too much to get it everywhere. Let it cool, and then you can see already how it's cooling, and it's a lighter color. So if you were to going for a darker yellow, you would add another drop of dye to your wax next time you were making a batch, and then you would see what the difference is between the dye colors. Here we've got a pot that it doesn't have enough wax left in it from pouring this melt to pour another one. There's definitely not. I can see that just visually. So what I'm going to do is, I call this scrap wax, and always take advantage of your scrap wax. Don't waste it. Take a mold of some format, like this metal tart or a small silicone mold like this, and use your scrap wax to pour some samples or some miniature ones. These are great to give out as free samples to customers, or just to have around for yourself for some just little extra ones. So pour out some. Now, here's the next tip. When you are completing your pours, you'll see the pot has some stuck at the bottom, some stuck down the side. So what I do is I put my pot on its side like this. Again, getting a fresh paper towel, wiping this rim off. And then what I'm going to do is take my heat gun, hit the bottom, and melt down the side like this, so that I'm not wasting this little bit of extra wax. And you'll be surprised how much wax is actually left in here. See that? Let's see how many pineapples we can make. And this last bit, I just wipe out with a paper towel. And look at that, we've almost got 2 pineapples instead of, we doubled, the amount. Whereas if we would have just poured that out, we wouldn't have had that. So I just, at the end, take a paper towel, wipe it clean, and I do it again. Even when it looks like it's clean. I just go all the way around the sides like this, and the bottom, get the rim down there. And now we're ready with a clean pot to make a fresh batch of wax. And now we're going to work on some different colors and different techniques that we can do with them.